Hi, Raina.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Anyway, I think now that I'm recording properly,
Yeah,
Raina.
it says it's recording.
Okay, I think we've spent 39 minutes getting this together. We were technically challenged, but we were patient, and now we're here. And it's really great to see you. Let me just introduce myself to anybody who might be watching or who will watch in the future. I'm Rebecca Ronayne from Forward After 50, RebeccaRonayne.com. And I am really interested in talking to women who have reinvented themselves after 50. And my first person who I'm going to interview is Raina here today, Raina Stinson. And our day over in Europe is coming to an end, but your day is just starting because you're all on the other side of the United States.
Right.
Well, Raina, I'm really, really glad to actually catch up with you now. And well, just to start off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you reinvented yourself?
So I'm Raina Stinson, and you can find me at rainastinsonphotography.com. And basically, I have been a registered nurse for the last 33 years. And when I turned 50, which was almost 6 years ago, I decided that I wanted to follow my passion, which is in photography. I've been a photographer since I was 13 when I got my first camera, and basically, was a hobbyist, amateur photographer for many years. And when I turned 50, I just had this feeling it was time for me. I'd raised my children, they were on their own, and it was time for me to follow my passion, which was photography. So I just started taking classes here in Portland, studying with professionals, and it's taken off. My photography has really taken off in a really pretty quick and amazing way.
When you say quick, I mean, how old were you when you actually started, do you think? Or you just came up with, had you always had this burning ambition, or is this?
Yeah, I got my first camera when I was 13. And so that's when I started being interested in photography. And then when I was in high school, I took, an actual photography class and learned how to work in the dark room. And when I went to college, I actually was a photographer for the newspaper and stuff. But I decided to become a nurse. I mean, that's what I felt like I needed to do. But there was this other part of me that really wanted to be a photographer. But, I kind of took not that it's a problem, but I took a safe path and decided to be a nurse because I figured I would always have a job. And there's a lot of artists in my family, and there was sort of this belief that it's difficult to make it as an artist, which, I mean, it is, but it's not impossible. So I just decided that it was time, and so I just really delved in. And the other part was I'd always worked with film. And when I turned 50 for my 50th birthday, my husband gave me my first digital SLR. And once I had the digital camera really changed a lot for me in that, with film, you don't get the immediate response, in terms of what you're doing. And when I had the digital camera, it just kind of changed everything for me in terms of my inspiration. And at the time, there was a lot going on in my life. And so doing the photography was also a way of really kind of, it was really sort of a meditative process for me in creating. And so that's kind of, it just sort of kind of took on a life of its own, actually.
And do you think that being over 50, did you have any issues about that, or did it give you any issues because of your age, or no?
No, not at all. No, I've never had the sort of an issue around age so much, in terms of, I feel like you can do anything you want, no matter how old you are. And so it didn't stop me in that way at all. And actually, in a lot of ways, it helped me because of my life experience and, the fact that I am a nurse and I still have a job that is paying the bills, that it was easy for me to just kind of delve in a really deep way.
And what has been actually your most memorable moment of this whole reinvention process?
Well, about 3 years ago, my mentor encouraged me to start submitting my work to exhibitions, competitions, and stuff. And yeah, it was 3 years ago I won my first international award. And it was, so that's when I say fast, there's been a lot of really fast acknowledgement for my work internationally. And at that time, 3 years ago, it was an award that I won that was called the 6th Julia Margaret Cameron Award, and I was in a show in Malaga, Spain. And then after that, shortly after that, no, I guess that was actually 2 years ago. I get confused. That was 2 years ago that I won that award. And then when I got back, my biggest award that I've received, it was last year. I won first placing image for an online competition called Lens Culture. And Lens Culture is a large platform for photographers and people, art directors, gallery curators. A lot of people come onto this site to find the most current and photographers that are out there. And it's a really big competition, and I actually won first place for one of my images, which was pretty mind-blowing for me. And as a result, I was in an exhibition last year, Photo London, and that was at Somerset House in London. And that is definitely the highlight of my career in terms of receiving acknowledgement for my work and getting really pretty big international exposure. So that's been... and it's also really helped me in terms of my confidence level, I think, too, and just kind of like.
I mean, that's fantastic. Not just going into photography, but actually you're an international photographer, a first prize one as well now, right. Like you say, in a relatively short amount of time. So.
Yeah, so that's what I mean when it's short. It's when I started submitting, it was very quickly that I was getting accepted into galleries and winning awards. Yeah, and so. My next international show is in October. I'm in a show in Berlin, and so I'm pretty excited about that.
And is that in competition as well?
Yes, yeah, that's another competition.
And well, can I just ask you a question? If you were 30 years old and you had known that you could reinvent yourself over 50, do you think, if you knew that you were going to be successful in another direction in the later years in your life, would your perspective of aging at that time, would it have been different at all?
I'm not sure about that because, I have like really good role models in terms of aging. My grandmother lived till she was 90, and she always acted as if she was 20 years old, and she always had this really great attitude. And my mother's the same way. She's very active. She's 76 years old, and she's an artist, and she's a musician. And actually right now she's in Washington, D.C. with a community band that she's in. They won this opportunity to perform. And so I've never really had a negative outlook on aging in that way, in terms of because I have a lot of good role models. Back then, would I have thought that I would have changed my career path at this age? No, I wouldn't have thought that. I just figured I was going to be a nurse for the rest of my life, and didn't even see that would be something I would do. So in that way, yeah, I wouldn't have. I had no idea I would take this path. And
do you ever see yourself retiring, or do you think you'll ever retire? Is that on your horizon at all? Especially with the role models you have, it looks like that might not be there.
I don't see myself retiring per se. My plan is actually to retire as a nurse soon, and then do photography full time. So I'm hoping, my plan is in the next year actually to retire from my nursing job, and just do full-time photography. I've been gradually cutting down as a nurse. I now work 3 days a week, and so I feel like in a year I'm going to be able to do that. And I'm actually at that point going to be moving to France for a year.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
The big leap.
Yep. Big leap.
And what do you think of retirement anyway? Do you think that's going to be with us for much longer?
I don't know. I mean, in terms of, I don't see myself ever retiring. I mean, I am somebody who's always going to want to be working on some level. But like I told my kids, I'll probably, be taking photos of my own death, because, that's what I love doing, photography stuff.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
So in that way, I don't see myself ever fully retiring, because I'm a person that just, wants to be active and doing things all the time. And yeah. And
if you were to give a piece of advice to a woman who is considering reinventing herself over 50, or doing something completely different, something that's been on the back burner, a career that perhaps, she always longed to do, but for whatever reason didn't, do you have any little helpful advice for someone in that position?
Sure. I think one is to really realize that age doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It matters what's in your heart and what you put out there. And that what I have found, because there's a lot of photographers. And what I found is, people don't have any concern about my age. They care about my work. Right. And so I think that, really just believing in yourself, putting yourself out there, and not putting up any barriers around your age. Because I think that if you're coming into whatever you want to do with authenticity, you can do anything you want. And I say taking risk. It is scary to put yourself out there. I remember the first time I submitted to a show, I was terrified. And when I got accepted, I was even more terrified, because I was like, oh no, now what do I do? But the other thing I did is I surrounded myself with people that are already doing this. And I think that also has been really helpful. I've really sought out, people that are really good teachers, and really guided me in some ways, because it is, for being a nurse all these years and then stepping into the art world is it's a totally different world. And I didn't know exactly how to be in it. And so I did a lot of research, but I also reached out to people.
Okay. And do you have any goals for your business in the next 12 months, apart from winning all those competitions?
Yeah, I'm currently mentoring with a really amazing commercial photographer that's from New York, and I'm fortunate that he moved to Portland, and he's really helping me to kind of get to that next level of getting my work out there, to start doing more commercial work. I've had some work in magazines, and I worked on a book, but I'm really now at this point of really pushing my career further in terms of getting more acknowledged within the commercial world. I have gotten to a place. You can always go much further, but I mean, just in terms of in the fine art world. But entering into the more of the commercial aspect of photography, I've been working on this for quite a while, and now I'm kind of ready to take that next step of really doing a big marketing. I have a big marketing plan that I'm going to be launching here real soon.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then the other part of France is I've had a lot of feedback from a lot of people that my work and a lot of the people that follow me are actually in Europe, and that my work is really received by Europeans very well. And so that's one. I love France, but I also want to move there to be able to be closer to some of the bigger hubs in terms of commercial photography. Fashion is a lot of what I love to shoot is fashion. So, and then also right now, as a way of being able to make some money initially, that may be a little more consistent, is that I'm doing some weddings and pre-wedding photography in Provence specifically, more for destination, people that are coming there for destination weddings.
And the lavender is coming out, so you may want to hop over here now.
Exactly. I know. I wish I could.
And people can catch you on at Raina Stinson. If you can say your web link.
Yeah, it's RainaStinsonPhotography.com.
Okay. And Stinson is that one word? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all one word. RainaStinsonPhotography.com.
Okay.
That's my commercial and fine art site. If they're interested in looking at a wedding site, that site is ProvenceWeddingsRSVP.com. And
well, anyway, I'm just really, I think you're a brilliant example of how you can change your career, and so successfully as well. And that you from nurse to international photographer is something really to be proud of. And I think would really encourage a lot of people to take that risk, to do something that maybe, slightly out of the comfort zone, and you just never know where that can lead you. Because I don't know if ever in your dreams you thought you would be an international award-winning photographer.
No. No, not at all, actually. I just wanted to, initially I just, I was thinking, I'd like to do portraiture, and I just really wanted to hone my skill. And when I took my first lighting class, I was like, I just want to do something different. I don't want to be like everyone else. And so, yeah, I had no idea it was going to take me to this place, but I'm happy about it.
And will you be coming to Berlin? Yes.
I'm hoping to. I've got a few things going on here that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. We're in the process of selling our home. And so it kind of depends on how all that flows, whether I'll be able to actually come to Berlin. But I'm hoping to.
All the normal stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been really fantastic talking to you, and I'm so happy that we eventually got the technical side sorted.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know quite what it was all about, but I'm sure all these things are a learning curve, and we'll make sure that lots and lots of people see you and what you're doing, and check out your website and see your amazing photos.
Thank you. Yeah, this has really been fun, and I really appreciate you taking the time to interview me. And I think that this is great what you're doing, and I encourage more women to step up and follow their dreams, and also the ones that have to really connect with you, and so that you can share more of that, because I think that it's important that we help encourage each other.
And I'll just mention that actually we met each other because I run a networking group in Provence called Network Provence, and through contacts and things like that, you're a part of that as well. So that it's a great group of women who have just like amazing things that they're doing. So that's been great. Right.
Yeah, that's a really great site. I really enjoy the posts and seeing what other women are doing there in Provence.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Raina, and good luck for your next show.
All right. Thank you. And I may see you in October, because if I come to Berlin, I'm also coming to Provence.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.